And welcome back to our program. Let me talk to you about something I don't often talk about, and that's elephants. I know we all like elephants. We go to the zoo, we follow elephants at the circus, but let me tell you about elephants and how it relates to crime and to the future of young men in this country today. Great story out of South Africa, a major game preserve in South Africa. They had an abundance of elephants, way too many elephants, and they're going to have to curtail the elephant population. So what do you do? How do you change them? They didn't want to kill them, but they decided to move a number of elephants to a different game preserve. Now, how do you move elephants? It's a big deal to do it. And so they developed a helicopter and a harness that could go around the elephant. The helicopter would pick it up and put it in a different game preserve. Now, the problem was the harness, the elephants weighed so much, the big bull elephants, the male elephants weighed so much that the harness just couldn't get around them. They said, okay, we'll just move female and a lot of the young elephants, which is what they did. They moved hundreds of elephants into a different game preserve, and that worked out fine. But after a while, they found something very peculiar. Rhinoceroses were being found killed. Now, there's a lot of killing of rhinoceroses in Africa because of their tusks. They like to steal the tusks. It was outlawed. Hunters would kill the rhinoceros. But they weren't killed for the tusks. The tusks were still there. They had been mauled and kicked to death. And so they set up a camera to see what the heck was going on. And what they found was that the rhinoceroses, in many instances, were being attacked by young raging bull elephants in packs coming up and stomping them to death. And they're just stunned by why would this happen? And the more they studied the situation, they just couldn't figure out what it might be. But one of the theories was there is no presence of major bull elephants in the pack. That's what's missing. The big bulls who were the male counterparts who were there to look after the elephants, to look after the herd. So as part of the experiment, they went back and designed a new harness that could pick up the big bull elephants and move some bulls into this game preserve. And it was amazing. In a very short period of time, all of the violence stopped. You see, these elephants would get their testosterone up, particularly in mating season. They'd go on rampages, and they were killing rhinoceroses and doing lots of damage, wandering and roaming in packs. When the male dominant figure was put into the mix, then the males were there to kind of keep the young bulls in line, not let them take off and go in rampages, put some order, put some symmetry. Isn't that interesting? And you make the comparison to young teenage men growing up. Their father figure, the person they turn to for advice, are their peers, because they don't have a father figure. They don't have a father figure. You see what I'm saying? And after the peers teach them how to be, quote, a father figure, the next phase they get for a father figure is prison. And so you relate that from the bull elephants to young men today getting in trouble, going into prison. You go right back to the lack of the father figure in the home. It's not a black or white issue. You find that with Hispanics, you hear it with whites. You just don't have that father figure to give that guidance that you need in the home. And I wish I knew the easy way to deal with that father figure. What kind of penalties you put on the father who abandons his children. It's more than just child support. What do you do to give that father figure a role when you don't have a male there in the first place? You do it through community activists. You do it through Big Brother programs. You fund programs like this. But isn't it interesting that you and I can learn from elephants in Africa that if the male figure is not there to give guidance to those young men, oh, they get guidance. It's not the kind of guidance that you and I want, right? Good lesson to learn. Be right back after this message.